You know, it's not every day you have a couple of Solana and Chainlink whales knocking on your door saying, hey, I got a bit of a secret to tell you. You know, but this happened to me recently, okay? I literally had a Solana and Chainlink whale knock on my office door telling me not to tell anyone about a couple secrets that they had in store for the market. Of course, I'm absolutely joking, but in this case, right, I want to tell you all a secret, or a series of secrets that Solana and Chainlink whales do not want you to know because they want to rob you of more money. They want to waver your conviction in these projects, and so my goal today is to do one of two things. One is to further increase your conviction in either of these two projects with some hard facts about these two projects, or the second is to then get you curious into these projects because I think they have a really great chance at a very prosperous future. Yes, even at the current inflated prices for 2025, and here are the reasons why. But please, I wanted you guys to do me a favor. If you like the green screen, I understand right now it's a bit scuffed, right? I'm having to sit down and do this, but if you do enjoy the green screen, if at all you think to yourself, damn, either he's really good looking or I like the green screen setup, I want you to hit the like button because I think I want to do it more often, and the only way it's going to make a comeback is if I know with a like. So with that being said, and thank you very much for that, by the way, let's get into the content. The first thing I want to do here is just tell you a little bit about what whales fundamentally know that we don't. And this is going to sound so stupid initially, okay? And that's growth. Okay, you're thinking to yourself, no BS crypto. You're telling me that the biggest hidden secret of all is growth? Are you stupid? No shit, Sherlock. Well, I agree. That is a bit of a stupid thing to say. But in this case, guys, growth isn't just something that happens. Growth is always a result, okay? Things just don't come out of the ground. You know, you don't just have a seed that grows into a nice tree because it just happens. It's got water, it's got fertilizer, it's got nutrients, so on and so forth. And in this case, the nutrients isn't just growth or, you know, crazy price go up movements. It's disruption. Projects must disrupt markets, Web 2 or Web 3, to have any sort of growth. And we're going to cover that in a bit more detail here today. Again, my goal is to just keep you on the straightened path. We have 2 more years of a lot of bears, a lot of the big boys trying to knock us down. So let's get into the video. But again, I want to take you guys through some of the basics first, so we're all on an equal playing field, okay? Solana, and actually before I do, I want to say before I get into Solana and Chainlink, I want to make this very apparent. I made a video very recently, last 5 or 6 months, on HBAR and Quant, a very similar video to this, touching on disruption as well, and how they really benefit from it as well. Now, I would see Solana and Chainlink, and why I've kind of paired these two projects together is simply because I see them as an alternative to HBAR, which is in of itself a very disruptive layer 1 project, just like Solana is, hint, hint, that's doing things a bit differently, but of course the market cap's a lot lower and it's a lot different in the sense of it could be a more of a risky play for some people. The same can be said for Quant, and I see Chainlink and Solana as the alternative big brother and sister to those two that can be purchased for those of you who want less risk, higher reward. That's kind of why I want to do these in duality. So with that said, the market cap right now for Solana is 30 billion. Right now, it's about 3 times more than Chainlink. Supply in circulation for Solana is 75%, but this is very good. I love Solana's tokenomics because it's disinflationary, okay? Which means there is inflation, but the curve goes like this. It diminishes over time until it eventually plateaus. Over here for Chainlink, again, this is nice. It's a little bit less in supply, of course, which means there's more to still come out, but this happens over time. It's not a concern at all. Now, my 2025 price predictions for these, you're thinking to yourself, oh, this is the really good stuff, right? $500 for Solana. Now, that's quite a lot, but I do think, just like what Cathie Wood has recently said, the founder of ARK Invest, is that I think that Solana is going to be a really big powerhouse here. I've got a lot of people who are very smart in the space also agreeing with me here. Again, it already is a $30 billion project, guys. It's literally insane. Over here for Chainlink, $200. Again, same thing can be said. That's a lot. I get it. Let's see how it progresses. I do think, again, this is going to blow people away. You'll see why. Over here, market dominance for Solana is 1.89%. All that pretty much means is 30 billion right now happens to be 1.89% of the entire crypto global market cap, okay? Which is how we come up with this number. The reason why it's important is because as this rises, of course, the market cap typically does rise as well, which means it's getting dominance on the market. It's beating the market. Over here, 0.61 for Chainlink, of course, because it is a smaller market cap. Current price over here for Solana, $72, 16 for Chainlink. Kind of crazy. I was pushing one-on-one consultants the last like 3, 4, 5 months here when they're a lot lower. Actually, pretty much down at these prices, right? $19 was the bear market average for Solana, $6.50 for Chainlink. It's grown 4x and 2.5x respectively. Just insane. I'm really happy people are making good money, but again, I do think this is only the beginning. So over here for Solana, let's extrapolate the chart again. I want to show you guys just how insane this is. Let me move my big head for a second. $75 right now. And again, the average was about 20 bucks. The thing is, and here's the really nutty thing, right? What I teach people, and again, if you're on my live streams every day, you will know I say this, right? If you take the current price and draw a line across the 1 year, and this is the 1 year trading area, okay? If you were to close your eyes and pick a point at any time on that timeline to buy, what's the percentage that you would buy beneath this mark? And unfortunately, for those wanting to still get into Solana and haven't, like myself, you would be buying literally at any time in the last 12 months at a better price. It's literally at its high in the last 12 months, which is shocking. But Chainlink is the exact same. Again, average 650 down over here. I was getting people in here. I personally thought it was going to be a crash still to happen. Of course, I'm left holding my potential Chainlink and Solana bags in this case. Either way, very happy for those who did get in when they did. Now, with all that being said, as I mentioned in the start of this video, the most important thing is disruption. Now, part of being a disruptive technology is, again, Web 2 and Web 3. Now, traditionally, Web 3 is easier. That's why it's in green, to get a disruption or market penetration essentially to be utilized, essentially because Web 2 is traditional companies stuck in traditional ways. You know, it literally takes like 3 weeks just to organize someone to change the damn printer cartridge. So of course it's harder to do, let alone a whole infrastructure change. But I think both these projects in their own unique way are tackling both of these areas really well, okay? Maybe arguably Chainlink a little bit better than Solana in my opinion, okay? But I see Solana as essentially what Ethereum couldn't do. It's not an ETH killer. It's not gonna make Ethereum mute, null. It's not gonna do that. What it's gonna do is effectively be a scalable layer 1 that doesn't need to rely on layer 2s, which in my opinion is a lot more secure and safe. It's a scalable layer 1 blockchain that's got fast finality and transactions per second. It has Solana permissioned environments as well, which means they're private networks that it can offer clients, institutional clients. Saga phone, it's taken a while to get off. It's essentially a Web3 phone. I believe this will do quite well in due time. Proof of history consensus, these guys created this unique form of consensus, which allows very unique and robust things to be built on it, which we'll talk about later on. Also, token 22, a new token standard that allows privacy. I can transfer tokens to you. You can't see my account balance and you can't see how much I've transferred, of course, if you were a third party. But in this case, very useful for enterprise clients wanting to pay customers or other business-to-business based transactions. Very important. Over here. Now, on the Chainlink side, I see it as a super connector, kind of again like Quant, but even offering a bit more, right? It's an Oracle service, as we all know. It's got proof of reserves. It's got cross-border payments now, tokenization, interoperable. Okay, it can interoperate with public and private networks. Okay, so it can go back and forth, which again was typically, really unique to Quant, and also allows CCIP dApps or cross-chain interoperability dApps. Essentially, CCIP is what enables these things to happen, and you can build dApps on top of it. Pretty unique, pretty cool. Again, very similar to Quant. But this is kind of, again, what they know. This is akin to me going to Harvard and learning computer science. Maybe you did too, hypothetically. We went to Harvard, we learned computer science, same grades, same degree, same school. But it's who you know that is actually just as, maybe even if not more important. Again, because if you know the right people, if I knew the founder or CEO of, let's say, a big Web3 or Web 2 company, and you didn't, of course, he's gonna favor me over someone like you, maybe even if you had a couple more qualifications up your belt. It's the power of networking, unfortunately, for all of us living in reality, right? But in this case, again, both these projects do quite well. Now, I must say that Solana doesn't really penetrate the what you know, or who you know rather, because it's essentially just got a bunch of applications that are built on top of it that are really, really unique, that actually bring in more demand, bring in more developers and end users. So things like the Helium network, which is a cellular network, Render, which is cloud rendering, Pyth or Pyth, which is an Oracle kind of like Chainlink and arguably even better, and Circle and Visa, which of course focus on payments. Now, of course, these things, in my opinion, bring in more people, and it's like a network effect. The more people that come on, build and build and build, the more applications, the more applications, the more builders, the more builders, the more applications, and then it just continues to grow. It's how Facebook and all that grew, okay? So this is very important, but I think that, again, Chainlink kind of edges out Solana a little bit in this case because they know more people in the real Web 2 world. Now, personally speaking, I think Solana is going to be a strictly Web 3 based company, so that's actually fine. I'm not arguing at all with that. In this case, I think, Chainlink can, tackle the Web 2 markets in a better way. So over here, Eric, which is the former CEO of Google. We have Christian over here, the Fed Reserve, WEF, and IMF. He's actually not part of those, but he definitely speaks to these people quite a lot. We also have Tom. He actually founded DocuSign, which is a very big digital signature based company. And Balaji, the man, the myth, the legend, right? General partner over at Anderson Horowitz. We all know Balaji. Very, very big player in this space, very wealthy man indeed. He was the one that predicted Bitcoin going to $1 million. He knew it wasn't, he knew it wouldn't go there, but he did it to bring more people in the space, right? So I respect him for that. And in this case, here's another example of why it's so important to, again, it's not just what you know, and in this case, the what you know is these projects' technology, okay? But it's also who you know, the connection. So in this case, if you need a better example of what I'm talking about here, think about it like this. You walk into a computer store, and there's a Apple sitting on the desk, and there's a computer by, well, you know the guy, but this handsome man over here. I made a computer. You never heard of me before, never heard of Chiron Technologies, but effectively you look at the specs, and the specs for the Apple are just a little bit worse off than mine, right? Core i7 versus Core i9, 1 terabyte of storage for the Apple versus 1.1 terabyte, same RAM, pretty fast computers, mind you. But in this case, of course, what are you going to go with? Most people are going to go with Apple because it's a more reputable, well-known brand. And this is, again, a testament to Solana. Solana and, of course, Chainlink as well are building already this network effect because people know them, they trust them, and they're relying on them, okay? And that's kind of where the Apple idea comes into it again. This is the tech side of things as well. And the connections are, again, important. People like governments, enterprises, and, of course, Balaji over there for Chainlink, and Kathy Wood over here representing Solana, and of course Mr. Wonderful as well in the background there, creeping on Kathy. They're of course very important to get behind projects because they are the ones that, again, market it, but also are the ones that help establish connections to what may actually come to fruition, very powerful connections and future partners, okay? So that is why it's very important to assess these things. And in this case, I think both these projects do an excellent job at gaining on the market, right? Market demand, market share, and also they have a great technology stack that allows more people to get involved and form deeper connections, okay? So we won't really touch on the connections too much, but in this case, mainly what's happening with is the project actually, gaining its market, right? Again, it's dominance, it's essentially disrupting these markets. And I do believe it is, because in this case of Solana, they can process many different types of things, right? Of course, Helium brings on this cellular network, which again can create very robust applications for anything building on Solana. We have things like audits, or essentially in this case, like supply chain management or logs, right? Audit logs that can be done because, again, it's a very fast network. IoT as well, again, fast, secure, so on and so forth. We have the Solana permission environments as well. That's for institutional clients. And over here as well, we've seen the likes of Visa get into Solana for payments along with Circle because they have the token 22 standard. Again, confidentiality is a big part of this aspect as well. And this enables things like Web3, right? I believe Solana will become the Web3 hub of crypto, NFTs, gaming, DeFi, you name it. Again, it's essentially becoming what Ethereum couldn't. Also, the Saga Forum, yeah, again, that's a very bullish thing, but this might take a longer time period to establish. And of course, they do have Helium network to boast that as well. And it's easier for developers to build on. C++ and Rust compatible. They also allow people to compile from a whole bunch of things. If you can compile into WebAssembly, you can compile basically on Solana. Very developer friendly, which is what I love the most. Now, if we compare this to other projects on the market and we actually do the weird test, again, WebAssembly compatible, and yes, Solana does pass this. Instant finality, interoperable, and infinitely scalable, and the E stands for EVM compatible. Solana is one of the very few projects. I think the only other one that might win this test is also Near Protocol, 100% win, okay? Now, it's very fast, 3,300 TPS right now, 3-second finality. White paper says 0.5. It does depend, of course. They created their own proof of history, and it's mixed with proof of stake as well, and 1,000 dApps. The only one that really comes close, of course, all of these have their own sort of beneficial aspects to it, is basically a mixture between Algorand being instant finality and over here Cardano 2,000 apps. But as you can see, I mean, they just don't score the same. So I do think, again, we're talking about a Web3 focused layer 1 blockchain. In my opinion, Solana just takes the cake right next to Near Protocol. Near Protocol might be a more multiple sort of bet in this case. Now, Chainlink over here has its own, of course, token demand measures. Of course, it's got financial services. It's actually recently done some tests with cross-border payments and tokenization of like essentially an asset, right, with ANZ. And of course, as an oracle for traditional markets and as tokenization of real-world assets as well, thanks to CCIP. The list goes on. Again, this is all the things it can do. It effectively is a powerhouse. Like Chainlink is just next level, basically does everything. It's a super app, okay? They can connect to things like Solana, Ethereum, so on and so forth. You guys know the drill over here. And again, as I mentioned earlier on, CCIP enables DeFi apps to be built on top of it. Now, what I would really recommend you guys look into is what I typically teach on the channel, and that's narratives, okay? Narratives are effectively where most of the money is going to come into at a given time. And in this case, Chainlink, because of the recent upgrade, hits like 4 massive narratives right on the damn head. It's effectively the McDonald's of the food industry. It is the monopoly in this whole area. Interoperability, oracles, of course, Web3 based, tokenization, and DeFi, okay? It's completely embedded in these narratives, meaning you cannot take Chainlink out, just like I spoke about network effects. Okay, again, just getting the ball rolling and growing till it's a certain size, like a snowball, where you can't stop it. And in this case, Chainlink also has embedding. Again, it's basically like, you couldn't take Chainlink out of the market because effectively crypto would stand still for a while. God knows, maybe even be completely kaput. Okay, so you can't take it out. Now, with that said, guys, again, do not let people waver you. Do not let people waver you. These projects are moving at supersonic speeds, and they basically are already, and that snowball is already well and truly in effect. And unfortunately for us, the price is not the best to buy right now, but again, what goes up must come down. So what would you pick if you could only pick one? And I want to know exactly the reason why. But again, I would kind of pair these two projects together for a safer investor. That's kind of what I would do in this case. Now, if you've made it this far and if you like the green screen or you like this face, please hit the like button. I would really appreciate that. And until next time, guys, have a really blessed day, and I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.